A problem that a lot of guys struggle with is that they're not making their approaches enough man to woman. What I mean by that is that they're not being flirtatious enough. They're not showing their intent that they want to take a woman on a date, that they want to be in a physical, intimate relationship with her and not just a friendly one. This happens when a guy is kind of like a phase, when he's become brave enough to actually approach women and speak to them, but he still fears rejection. He still, on some level, feels like he's not good enough to go on a date with whatever woman he's talking to. So he plays it safe in his conversation. He keeps his conversation friendly rather than flirtatious and romantic, so that he can avoid that big harsh rejection, which sounds good, but ultimately he's not gonna get what he wants when he's having interactions like this. He's just gonna get rejected in the long run, maybe put in the friend zone or something like that. Now, the easiest way to stop this from happening to you is to basically gain more confidence in yourself, more belief that you deserve hot relationships with hot women. But that isn't something that can come overnight. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some small tricks and tips that you can add into your conversations to make them more man to woman and hopefully get what you want out of these approaches that you're doing. So my first tip is to do direct approaches. Okay, this is essentially an approach where right off the bat, you are telling the woman what it is that you actually want. Okay, so for example, you see a woman in the shopping mall, you approach her, you say, oh, excuse me, I know this is a bit out of nowhere, but I saw you walking along in that Prada dress. Did Prada even make dresses? And anyway, either way, you look so glamorous today and it caught my attention and I want to talk to you. I want to meet you. Okay, you'll notice if you've been in our free school group, this is the type of approaches that the Game Global coaches always recommend and are always doing, and you can see examples of us pulling this off in our free school group. So there's a link for that in the description and the pinned comment. Definitely, we always recommend that for like daytime approaches. In like bars and nightclubs, it's not as necessary because it's kind of like a social convention. If you are approaching a woman in a bar, that you just want to get into her pants, this is what the social convention is. But even so, for these guys who struggle to make their conversations man to woman, we might still recommend that they do direct approaches in the bars and nightclubs as well. Okay, second tip is to try and make all of your conversations about you, about her, or about the both of you together. The rest of it is just small talk and it's not gonna move your interaction forwards, okay? So if you're talking about the weather, if you're talking about the local sports team, if you're even talking about what it's like to live in a certain city or what it's like to study a certain subject in university, these are all nice, friendly topics, but because they're not about you, they're not about her, they're not about the both of you together, you're not building your relationship. You're not learning about each other. You're not learning whether it would be fun to go on a date with each other. It's too friendly. So keep all of your conversation topics about you, about her, or about stuff that the both of you have in common or stuff that the both of you can do together. That's an easy one. Here's a more complicated one. It's a task that I assign to all of my one-on-one coaching students. And that is to list at least 5 personality traits that your ideal girlfriend would have. Okay, so maybe you want your girlfriend to be spontaneous, adventurous, kind, athletic, funny. Okay, there's 5 there. Okay, now in your initial conversations with women, I want you to subtly try and find out if the woman has these personality traits that you've listed down. Okay, so subtly, so you're not going to be like, are you adventurous? But you might say something like, oh, what's the most adventurous thing you've done in the last month? Okay, no, are you kind? That's a weird thing to say, but you might say, oh, you seem like the kind of woman who gives all of her free time to her friends and family and then leaves none for herself. So, something like that, okay? What this is going to do is going to spin the conversation so she's qualifying herself to you, and it's just going to frame the conversation in a way where, oh, okay, he's screening to see if I would be a good person to date. And the final tip that I'm going to recommend to you in this video is that you should be, in your initial conversations, screening for things that the two of you can do together on a first date. So if you are talking about, if you're finding out things that she likes to do in her spare time, and you spot something that you enjoy as well, and that you two could enjoy together, there you go. That's something that you can invite her to go and do later on in the conversation, maybe, okay? And that really is a smooth way that you can transition into swapping contact details, all right? So you find out that she loves to eat tacos at a certain spot in her favorite town. Oh my God, I love that town. I love that taco place too. We should go together sometime next weekend. She says, oh, that sounds cool. Then that's going to transition really smoothly into swapping contact details, because how else are you going to organize that? How else are you going to organize to go and eat tacos together if you don't have each other's contact details? What a lot of guys that struggle with the things I'm talking about in this video do, they have these conversations about random stuff that has nothing to do with dating or relationships or being together, or if they have a connection. They have a nice conversation about these things, and then they go out of nowhere, oh, can I get your Instagram? And the woman might be like, well, what for? So we can keep talking about random current affairs. So if you're trying to swap contact details by actually inviting her somewhere, and then swapping contact details after she says, oh, that might be cool, that's just a smoother way to do it. She knows that you want to date her, and that actually leads to the messaging being really easy as well, because the first message you can send her could potentially be about, oh, what time of date you're going to go for tacos, because you've already agreed that you're going to do that. Okay, so those are the 4 tips I'm going to share with you in this video. A lot of guys about, oh, what can I do to make things more physical? That's not always necessary. If you're meeting a woman in a shopping mall or a cafe, like, you're not going to get physical with her that quickly. We do have a video about getting more physical on like dates or in the bar and nightclub. I'm going to leave a ticket for you there, or it might be there, whatever one it is. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, you are going to love our free school group that we've made for you. This features a whole class, a digital class called the Step-by-Step Guide to Game. It's going to teach you all the basics you need to know about approaching and attracting women in daytime environments, bars, nightclubs. We've just added a new module for how to set up a great first date. So if you are the sort of person who struggles about the things we've been talking about in this video, you are going to love our free step-by-step guide to game. It's going to get you everything you need to start getting results when approaching and attracting women. There's a link for that in the description and the pinned comment. Other than that, my name's Joe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you real soon.